Hello. You can see here in front of the screen, or in front of me, two piles of CDs. So over the last probably 2 to 3 weeks, I've been, well, actually it wasn't. I originally went through about 2 weeks ago and kind of pulled out a bunch of CDs that I realized if someone asked me, what does this sound like? I would have had a problem telling them what it sounded like. Actually, that's not true. Some of them I did know, but I wasn't 100% sure. Some of them I'd completely forgotten, and I need to get rid of some CDs. I find that there's too many things in the collection that I have that feeling about. I'm like, I can't actually remember what this sounded like. Why did I keep this? So I listened through to all of these. How many of these? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 CDs. Now that might not seem like a lot over 2 weeks, but that's over a CD a day. And there are some days where I can't sit down and listen to a whole album end to end because being an adult, having work and family commitments, looking after my son and, other family stuff and numerous reasons. Where I do listen to a lot of music in my daily life, I tend to do that in my car when I'm commuting or when I'm at work, during breaks or just kind of downtime at work. I can listen to music, or even just around the house on my headphones. Because the thing is, if I'm playing music on the stereo, that means everyone else has got to listen to it, and that's not really fair because we live in quite a small house, and you can't really get away from it when someone is listening to something, So sometimes when I'm making dinner or we're eating dinner, I'll put a CD on, and so I've done that over the last 2 weeks. And so this is the pile of keepers. This is the pile of getting rid of. So I'm going to go through first of all the keepers and explain a little bit about each CD and why I'm keeping it. So the first one here is the most recent one. I listened to this last night, and One Giant Leap. I'm not exactly sure what this is. It says, it's like a compilation, but not a compilation. It's like these two guys have got together. We traveled around the world collaborating with the most happening musicians, authors, scientists, and thinkers we could find to explore the unity and the diversity. And so from what I can understand, it's these two guys, Duncan Bridgman and Jamie Cato, and they've worked together with various artists, musicians around the world, and made music. But I assume they're kind of producing the track, and then the musicians are coming over the top with their vocals. It sounds like they kind of go into some more explanation here, but I don't want to read that because I'm just trying to quickly go through this. But what I'd say is that I actually quite enjoyed it, and I remembered some of it because I'd obviously bought this a couple of years ago and listened through to it once or twice before. But you can see the artists they work with here. Some of these I know. Robbie Williams and Maxi Jazz. Maxi Jazz is the vocalist from Faithless. He actually passed away recently, last year. And I quite like Faithless. There's, of course, Michael Stipe. Speech, Nina Cherry. Michael Franti. Grantley Phillips, Horace Andy. Some of these guys are quite famous. Now, why did I think these guys were New Zealanders? There was a reason why I thought they were New Zealanders. But this was obviously a TV program of some sort. And maybe that they went around and it showed them. Freddie Michael Black. Because there's some sounds like Maori singing throughout it. Anyway, what it is, it's like a combination of electronic, world music, ambient. That was very popular in that kind of period of the mid to late 90s going to the early 2000s. That's very much of this. It's kind of like a world music type thing, but it really goes together with the music that's produced by these two guys. I quite enjoyed it. So yeah, this is something I just picked up on the fly a few years ago, so I had no idea, just thought it looked interesting. So keeping that one. Ice TV was a TV show in New Zealand in the late 90s aimed at the kind of teenage, early 20s youth market. And this was a compilation soundtrack they put out. There's songs on here that I have on various albums, but the songs that I really do like that I hadn't heard for ages was that one there by Luscious Jackson, Naked Eye. God, when I listened to that, that kind of really took me back. I probably hadn't heard that song for a good 20 years. And I wouldn't say I particularly loved that song when it came out back in the late 90s, but it's very nostalgic hearing it now. The other song I like is the Republica song, Ready to Go, a very kind of nostalgic song when I hear that. Breasts of Creed and Cake, which is a New Zealand band, Palm Singing, like that. Songs that I don't like, such as the Sublime song. I really can't stand Sublime. But yeah, just kind of a collection of late 90s type songs. Some stuff there, New Zealand stuff you're probably not familiar with, like Darcy Clay, He'd Like a Hole. Like I said, Breasts of Creed and Cake. This one I listened to late last week, Behind the Eye, Volume 2 IQ compilation. And this is what I would call techno. Now, when I say techno, I mean broadly electronic dance music. And I say dance here, the emphasis, because it's music made to be played in nightclubs for people to dance to, but not house music. This is more, like I said, techno, maybe trance. I'm not familiar with dance music enough to differentiate all the different kinds of genres, like tech house and progressive trance and minimal techno and etc. I for a long time I really couldn't stand that kind of music, and to be honest, a lot of it still I can't stand. I like the more ambient end of electronic music. Anything that's made for dancing, I just don't like. I find it to be repetitive, boring, unimaginative, tinny, and that is a little bit like this, but there's enough in this that makes me kind of a little bit interested where I want to keep it. I don't know much about it beyond what I've just said there. I think it's German. The reason I say is because it says it's made in Germany, and I think there's some German names. You can see some German addresses there. Offenbach, Strasburger Strasse. Was it the producer's German? Stevie BZ. Anyway, so yeah. Be So Global. Okay. I could probably put this together. I'll talk about these three at the same time. We've got Trans Global Underground, 91 to 98, Backpacking on the Graves of Our Ancestors, Stone Age, no album title, and Be So Global. I'd say these are all fairly broadly similar of, again, world electronica meshed together with world music that was popular in the late 90s, early 2000s. This was 1993, so it's a little bit actually later, earlier than that, but you can kind of imagine Be So Global, written with a B, not the B-E, all come to, I'm trying to see if there's anything here. Those Little Blue Galaxies again, Moi, like It's a Pond with a fish in it. I'm trying to see if there's any kind of words there that would give a clue to that. But it's, yeah, like I just said. I'm not going to read through all that, but it's of that kind of, I've talked before about, what's that band? Deep Forest. Well, this is not as worldy as Deep Forest. This is more on the electronic side of things. This one here, Trans Global Underground, Backpacking on the Graves of Our Ancestors, 91 to 98. Well, you can kind of imagine again what that is. Looking at the imagery, and there the CD imagery. This is a double disc as well. And that total there of trans global, again that word global, trans global, Be So Global. That song Templehead, I actually think I've heard it somewhere before. It's actually quite familiar, but again, electronic tinged world music, or world music tinged electronica, however you want to look at it. It's of that variety, and I quite enjoy it. Stone Age, again, this one's a little bit more ambient and a little bit less world music-y. You can see here, this is kind of like almost like a Celtic, Celtic type, whatever you want to call it. Is this French? The language, you can see some of these things where sometimes doesn't look like it's English. Some of those names look, I don't know, Patrice Rondin, Marielle Herve, Robert Legal. That kind of sounds French, doesn't it? But yeah, electronic with world elements, ambience, but with a little bit of kind of, well, like it's called Stone Age, kind of Celtic, ancient type sounds interspersed throughout it as well. So I enjoyed that. Thunder Chord, Coyote Oldman. Now this is a few weeks now that I've listened to this, but I do remember enjoying when I listened to it. You can kind of imagine what that sounds like. That's kind of got more of a Southwest USA type motif, doesn't it? Coyote, Native American Indian type thing. Pan flute, even though pan flute's more of a South American. This was played in 1990, so that's quite old. Handcrafted cedar flutes from the endless prairies, panpipes from the high mountains of the Americas, titanium thunder something, percussion, and electronic, there's a red thing, a yellow thing covering, haunting landscape of something. Thunder Chord, Turtle Island, medicine flute, field of clouds, wind shadows, shining prairie. Kind of gives an idea of the sounds. Less on the electronic side, more on the world new agey side, but not terribly cheesy, which is a rare thing to find with world music and new age music of the 90s. 90s new age music tended to be very cheesy. And it's kind of hard to find stuff that isn't cheesy, that's kind of got some, I don't know, just darkness to it, or what do you call it, realness. But yeah, I enjoyed that as well. This one I was kind of 50-50 on. Aqualung presents Memory Man. Now Aqualung is the artist, Memory Man is the album title. And this guy is an artist, I think he was, is he British or American? I can't remember. I actually did read his Wikipedia page. I wanted to give this a second chance, because when I was listening through to it, I was kind of like, I don't really like this. This is kind of a bit boring, kind of straight ahead pop rock, serious rock type music. But there was a couple of songs here in the middle there I thought, actually, this is quite good. I think it was around song 6 to 8, around that kind of mid portion where I kind of, so I thought, well, I won't get rid of it yet. I'll give it another listen and kind of then going to get more of a feel for it. Because I actually remember buying this and having a similar feeling the first time I listened to it. Like, oh, this is okay. Not amazing, but okay. And the last one I've decided to keep is The Foreign Exchange, Connected. Now, I had no idea what this was when I bought it. I thought this was, again, something similar to those other things I just talked about. Kind of some kind of ambient type, new agey world type music. I don't know why. Maybe The Foreign Exchange, that kind of imagery of words. But what it is how would I describe it? Kind of hip hop, but conscious hip hop. Is that what they call it? Like A Tribe Called Quest, or bands of that ilk. I don't really know any other bands. There are other ones like that, but I can't. The Roots, maybe, like that. Far Side, where it's hip hop, but it's not, certainly not gangsterish in the lyrical content. More, I'm not gonna say relatable, but kind of topics. They call it conscious hip hop. More kind of broader topics that are applicable to all humanity. And again, some of it I was kind of like, but some of the I actually quite enjoyed some of the songs. Some of the production, the backing tracks, the beats they used, I quite enjoyed. So I thought I'd give that more of a go. So yeah, know nothing about the Foreign Exchange, who they are, where they're from. Also, there's two people. The Foreign Exchange is Nicolay, drum, bass, keys, guitar, samples. Okay, so it sounds like they use a lot of instruments as well. Fonte, vocals, songwriting, arrangements, groupie control. People they, I'm looking at the people they thank. I don't recognize any of these people. Ken Starr, wasn't that the guy, the prosecutor in the Bill Clinton? Okay, it's a white dude. okay, there we go. So it's a oh look, they're holding hands there. It's a maybe those are not even the guys. I would assume. Oh, yes, no, that is. So that's Fonte, and that's Nicolay. So Fonte is the vocalist, the main vocalist, and Fonte is the Fonte is the vocalist, and Nicolay is the program or the producer, the drums, bass, keys, guitar, samples programmer. Where are they from? Doesn't say. It says .nl down here. Nicolay Music and NL is the Netherlands. So maybe they're Dutch. Could be. I know that they do. They sing in or the vocals are all English, and I assumed it was American. So yeah. Anyway, so those are the ones I'm keeping. So what am I getting rid of? These ones. Cobra Starship. I had, I don't know, this just sounded like boring mid-2000s emo-ish rock, I guess you could kind of say. It did nothing for me, you know. And I'm kind of iffy on that kind of music anyway. Like, you know, something like Fall Out Boy, I can kind of take it in small doses, and I really like some Fall Out Boy stuff. But anything that's kind of too of that, I can't really don't really like, and so I listened through this and it just did nothing for me whatsoever. So that's going. Kitaro Mandala. Why am I getting rid of this? I've discovered I don't like Indian music. Now this guy's not Indian. Kitaro sounds Japanese, that name, and he actually might be Nepalese or something. I don't know. But I don't like, he doesn't look Nepalese, does he? Nepalese usually have more of a an Indian look, but could be Tibetan. The thing I don't like about Indian music is the drum. You know, the kind of percussive boing boing that it has on their drums. I think it's like the way they call it, a tabla or tabla, whatever the drum's called. Maybe it says in here. I think it's Japanese because like Yuki, Ryunosuke, Takahashi. There's lots of Japanese names in there. And just whatever. I'm not saying he's playing specifically Indian music, but when I listen to it, it sounds Indian. And mandala is, you know, a Buddhist thing, and I know Buddhism. I don't know. I don't want to explain it. I just don't like the sound of it. It's like there's something about it that just doesn't do it for me. And I'll put this one in next. Similar vein. This is Rahul Sharma. This is put out on that Real World label. I've got a few things on that. Music of the Himalayas, and same thing. Music of the Himalayas, meaning kind of like Nepal, northern India, Pakistan. It's that Indian sounding music, and maybe I'm talking in a very kind of ignorant way here about what that music is, but I don't like the sound of it. Oh, there is tabla. That particularly, there's something about it I don't like. Melody of Kashmir, Melody of Jammu and Kashmir. Now, this has got nothing against India or Indian people. I'm actually very interested in Indian culture. I would kind of a long held dream of mine is to travel to India and kind of spend like a 2 or 3 months traveling throughout that country. And I love Indian food. I work with a lot of Indian people in my job, all very nice people. I like Indian movies. I'm kind of defending myself. But I can just say I don't like the sound of Indian music, that traditional drum sound they use. It seems like whenever that comes on, it just kind of turns me off. So those ones. Death in Vegas. This is a band that I know nothing about, but I've heard their name so many times. And that's why when I saw this for secondhand for like $1 or 50 cents, I picked it up. But no, I kind of listened through to it and I think I was 50-50. I might still be 50 or 50 on it because I can't actually remember putting it in this pile. But I do remember kind of thinking nothing special about it. Now, this is from the late 90s, this one, 99. Maybe you're going to research about them a bit more and listen to some of the other stuff on Spotify or something. But this album in particular, no. John Digweed, talking about dance music before, techno, whatever you want to call it. This version of that music, whatever kind of music John Digweed plays, and I've heard his name before. What kind of DJ is he? Is he a trance DJ or this is the kind of music I just do not like. Whatever music he is putting out, it is a perfect example of the kind of music that is just not for me. Now, I'm seeing if it says exactly what kind of dance music he does. No. Okay, harder, trancier style than a garage-inflected style. What it doesn't say. Acid house. I've heard some acid house that I've liked before. Whatever this is on this 006 Global Underground John Digweed Sydney is the exact kind of dance music that I can't stand. It's just boring nothingness to me. It just sounds like, I don't know, it's the most soulless music I can imagine. Like I would rather listen to some fucking computer produced fucking K-pop or Taylor Swift or something like that than I would this. It's almost not music when I listen to it. I'm sorry if someone, I'm sure people do disagree. Lots of people absolutely love this music, but not me. Last three are 3 George Michael albums. Why am I getting rid of these? Because I don't listen to them. I have 2 George Michael greatest hits collections, one double disc that kind of, it would all be things you'd expect, and then one triple disc that really goes in depth and has some deeper cuts. And I feel like those things cover everything I'm ever going to want to listen to in terms of George Michael. So I've got here Patience, what is that, Freedom? Oh, sorry, Listen Without Prejudice, and Older. And all the songs that you would know from these, like what's on this, Freedom 90, Mother's Pride, Something to Save, Cowboys and Angels, Jesus to a Child, Fast Love, Amazing. They are all on those other compilations that I already own. So it's just kind of taking up space in my collection, in my shelf. And the thing is, it's like I am running out of space, and I do want to kind of make my collection more paired to exactly what I want. And if I'm ever in the mood to listen to George Michael, 10 times out of 10, I'm just going to grab the greatest hits CDs. Because I'm not a big enough fan to want to listen to Freak 04 or Precious Box or American Angel. And as much as I appreciate George Michael, and I think he's produced some really amazing music, or I should say in the past tense, I'm not a big enough fan to warrant keeping 3 of his albums that I just don't listen to. So yeah. So we keeping those and getting rid of those, making a little bit of space. And when I say getting rid of, actually I made a video probably 6 months ago about some other CDs I'm getting rid of, and I actually haven't got rid of them. What I've done is put them into a bag. like a reusable shopping bag, which I'm thinking of transferring to like a banana box and putting in the garage downstairs, the storage area, because I'm not sure I want to get rid of, but don't want them to be in my core collection. Maybe that sounds stupid. But yeah. Anyway, just thought I would share that, as interesting or uninteresting as that may seem to people watching. Thank you for watching.